In this video, you and I get to take a big picture look at the logic and concept behind snapshots in a vSphere environment. So let's start off with a use case for how we could use snapshots to improve our lives. So let's imagine that we have a whole bunch of VMs that are running and there's a new update. So before we put an update into production, of course, we are going to test it. So we could take one of our existing VMs, we could go ahead and replicate that to a new VM in our test environment. So let's go ahead and imagine this represents the VM that we want to go ahead and do the update on as a test. So let's imagine this is Monday, and what we could do with this VM is we could take a snapshot of that VM. So if we ever need to, in our testing and working with that test VM, we could roll back to this initial state that it was in on Monday. Because when we take a snapshot, what we're really preserving, or what we have the option of preserving, is the VM settings. And the VM settings would include things such as the virtual hardware as well, including how many CPUs, how much memory, do we have reservations, what type of controllers, network adapters, and so forth. All that information is saved in a snapshot as part of the VM settings. The snapshot will also save the power state. So if we take a snapshot of this virtual machine and it's powered off, it'll be a powered off snapshot. And if we take a snapshot of a powered on virtual machine, that snapshot will reflect that it's powered on. And we could also capture the memory state. So if this computer was doing a ping or running an application or whatever is going on in memory on this virtual machine, and we capture the memory state, that's going to be stored as part of the snapshot. And one other critical element here will be the VMDKs, the disk files. So as part of the capture, the original VMDK files, which is the hard disk. Now behind the scenes, there's a VMDK, and there's also a file called flat.vmdk. And if you look at the data store browser, this actual flat.vmdk doesn't show up, but it is present. And it works in conjunction with the other VMDK file to represent the hard drive that virtual machine is using. And if the VM has 4 or 5 different hard drives, it would have 4 or 5 different VMDKs as well. So when the snapshot is taken, the VMDKs are preserved. And the secret sauce behind that is that once these are kind of locked in stone and preserved, it also is going to create delta disks. And those will also show up as VMDKs in the file system. So it'll have the VM name, a whole bunch of zeros, and a 1.vmdk. So the original disks are locked in stone, and then new changes that would be written to the disks are written to the delta disk file. There's also a file called vmsd, and that's the database file. That's keeping track of all the parts and pieces associated with the snapshot. There's also a file called vmsn that's used as part of the snapshot, and if we have chosen to save the memory state, when we make the snapshot, it's that vmsn that's going to contain that memory state. So these would represent new and additional files that are created when we create a snapshot. And of course, the standard files that are associated with the VM would still be present as well, including VMX files, that's the configuration file for a VM, and the NVRAM file, which have the BIOS information for a VM, and a whole assortment of log files as well that vSphere is automatically going to make as it tracks and works with its VMs. So now that we've taken a look at some of the things we can capture in a snapshot and also some of the additional files, let me go ahead and clean this up a little bit and let's talk about snapshot hierarchies. So let's again go ahead and put our test VM here. And let's say once we replicate one of our VMs in our test environment, we want to get that base state that we can revert back to. So we take a snapshot. And so for the snapshot name, let's call this base snapshot. So then let's imagine we have a few patches to apply. So we apply the first patch. And then after that patch, we create another snapshot. So we'll go ahead and call this snap2 with a little note regarding it was a patch. So let's imagine that works. So we want to install a new application. And then after it's installed, we'll make another snapshot. We'll call that snap3. And I'll make a little note here. That was a new app. And then we decide, oh, you know what? There's one additional change I need to make. So we make that change. Maybe it's a new network adapter or some other parameter regarding the guest OS or something else. And then once we make that change, we make yet another snapshot. So we'll call that snap4. And then we just make a note that's a hardware change. So if we have a VM with one VMDK file, every time we make a snapshot, we are creating a new delta disk. So the base snapshot will have its own delta disk. It'll have another delta disk for snap2, and another delta disk for snap3, and another delta disk for snap4. And then as we're working with Snapshot Manager, it'll show us exactly where we are in that hierarchy. So let's imagine we've taken the snapshot 4, we're testing, and then we realize, oh no, the new app is installed wrong, or the hardware isn't good. What we could do is we could go ahead and revert back to a previous state. So we could say, I want to revert back to snapshot 2, or I want to revert back to snapshot 3. Now, when we revert back, it doesn't delete the more current snapshots like snapshot 4 down here. It still leaves that in place, so we could revert back to snapshot 4 if we wanted to. So in the event we reverted to snapshot 2, it would indicate that we are here in Snapshot Manager just to remind you of where you're at. And we also have the option of deleting snapshots. So we can choose to delete an individual snapshot, or we could choose to delete all the snapshots, but just make sure that when you delete all the snapshots, that the virtual machine is in the current state that you want. Because once you delete snapshot 3 and snapshot 4, there's no going back to those snapshots. And in the case where we deleted all the snapshots, it would consolidate the changes that are in the delta disk associated with snapshot 2 to the parent. So from a relationship perspective, this would be the parent snapshot, this would be the child. And if we get rid of all the snapshots, all the changes in the existing delta disks up to the point where we are would be rolled back and converged into the parent VMDK. And then all the delta disks could be deleted. And in the event that we delete some snapshots and for some reason the changes in the delta disk don't get correctly merged into the parent disk, VMware will give us a notification that we need to do a consolidation. Effectively, it'll tell us that we need to consolidate our snapshots, and they'll even provide a button to do it should that case arise. It'll attempt to take those changes in that delta disk that previously didn't get correctly merged into the parent and merge those changes into the parent. So let's imagine we're working with our test VM and we have these 4 snapshots in place. And let's imagine that we revert back to the base snapshot. Maybe we want to take a different approach, or we want to try the patches and the new apps once again. So I'll go ahead and put a little indicator here that that's where we are in the hierarchy. So if we did revert back to the base snapshot and we started making new snapshots, we would create a second branch of the snapshot tree. So I'll put that one in a different color. So let's imagine that we have the base snapshot, we reverted to it, and now we once again apply the patch, and then we create a snapshot. So I'll go ahead and call this snapshot. And just for numerical purposes, I'm going to say it's snapshot 5. However, it's done right under the base, so this is the parent of snapshot 5, and snapshot 5 is the child of the base snapshot. Let's also imagine that snapshot 5 here we took after we reapplied the patch. And then let's imagine further that we wanted to install a new app, and once we do, we create another snapshot. So that'd be snapshot 6, and I'll write new app here. And then once again, let's imagine that at this point, and let me go ahead and move the You Are Here indicator, because every time that we're making changes, we're going down this branch of the tree now. So let's further imagine that we then modify the hardware for the VM. We change the number of network adapters, or we change the amount of CPUs or something else. And then once we do that, we create another snapshot. So that'd be snapshot 7. And I'll make a note here, that's a hardware change. So now we have 2 branches. We have a branch going down this way and a branch going down this way, and a boatload of delta disks. Which brings me to my next point. The snapshot mechanism is not intended to be any type of a backup or long-term solution. It's really meant to be temporary as you're working on something. So let's imagine after all this is done, we decide, you know what, we want to go this direction and we want to end up with these changes right here to the VM before we bring it back into production, and use that with change control to do the updates on all the other VMs. So let's imagine it's this branch right here that we want to end up with. And from here, we could go ahead and delete all the other snapshots, or we could delete all the snapshots. And that would take all the changes down this branch and merge them into the parent VMDK, or if it had multiple disks, the VMDKs. And then it would delete all the deltas associated with these 7 snapshots. And it's a good practice to not leave snapshots lying around, because over time, especially on a busy Windows server, for example, if we have a snapshot or 2 in place, the base disks don't get changed. They're locked in stone, and the delta disks with all the changes are growing and growing and growing. And if another snapshot is taken, then that new delta disk will start growing and growing and growing. And as a result, it can leave a lot of disk space in use if we accidentally leave our snapshots in place. Also, if we have a VM and we're going to do a storage vMotion, or we're going to move the files for that VM to a different data store, once again, we might have a VM with a 20 gig thin provisioned hard drive, but it ends up being 40 or 50 gigs of storage that's in use due to all the snapshots associated with that VM. So again, the key is use the snapshots as a mechanism for testing and the ability to revert back to an existing snapshot. But when we're done, we want to go ahead and delete all the snapshots and take our VM in its perfect state and then use that going forward, with all the delta disks merged back into the parent VMDK. And one of the best ways to really appreciate and get used to the concept of how snapshots work is to see it in action. So we're going to do a few examples, including with VMs that are powered off and powered on, and give us lots of opportunity to revert back and forth between those various states. We'll also take a moment and take a look at the files involved as we make snapshots as well. So join me in the next video as we take a look at creating initial snapshots on a virtual machine that is powered off. And I'll see you there in just a moment. Until then, I hope this has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing. Hey, thanks for watching, and subscribe right here to get the latest information from CBT Nuggets. And if you're new to or considering a career in the world of IT, head on over to CBT Nuggets and sign up for a free trial.